Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well today. Day 573 on the quarantine. No, I'm just kidding. Feels like it, probably for a lot of us. Things have been going well so far in the John Co home. So I appreciate any of you guys who are praying for us, and just know that we're praying for you guys. I'm doing the Devo today, so I just kind of wanted to share something that um, the Lord always has kind of spoken to me about, and I love the story that I'm going to read and just talk about a little bit. It's uh, it's from the Old Testament, so if you have Bibles, turn to Second Kings chapter 6, and that's where we're going to be this morning, or whenever you're watching this. And just kind of give you just to kind of give you a little backstory about what's happening. This is during the time of the kings in Israel. So Elisha, who was the successor of Elijah, he is the prophet that ministers at this time, and the Syrians are coming against Israel. And so, just to kind of like preface what's happening before this, is the Syrians are coming against, and what the king wants to do is he keeps like talking to his generals, and he's like, I'm gonna set this trap, or I'm gonna attack him here. But the Lord keeps speaking to Elisha and telling him the plans, and then Elisha tells the king of Israel, so that every time the king of Syria has like a plan, it keeps getting messed up to the point where he's like, okay, who's on their side, who is actually a spy for Israel? And they're like, it's not us, it's Elisha, this man of God who keeps telling the king your plans. And so the king of Syria is like, okay, well then we got to take out this Elisha guy. So what they do is they go and they surround the city with an army just to get one guy. They surround the city that Elisha's in with an army. And so we'll be in Second Kings chapter 6, starting in verse 14. And it says, therefore he, the king of Assyria, sent horses and chariots and a great army there to the city that was Dothan. And they came by night and surrounded the city. And when the servant of the man of God, or Elisha, arose early and went out, there was an army surrounding the city with horses and chariots. And his servants said to him, alas, my master, what shall we do? So he, Elisha, answered, do not fear, for those who are with us are more than those who are with them. And Elisha prayed and said, Lord, I pray, open his eyes that he may see. Then the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw. And behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. And so I love this story because it really shows the difference between what we see in the physical realm and what is in reality in the spiritual realm. And, Elisha was at total peace with the circumstances, even being surrounded by an army, because he saw the spiritual reality that was taking place. He saw what was really happening. His servant panicked, and he couldn't see what was really around him, the protection. And it wasn't until Elisha prayed that the Lord would open his eyes that his eyes were open. And all of a sudden, he sees this angelic army with horses and chariots of fire that are surrounding the army that are surrounding them. And I just love that picture because I think that's us. And I think that could definitely be us, especially now. And not that we want like every devotional to be about like the quarantine and everything that's happening. And this isn't just related to what's happening now. I mean, this is relating to whatever situation you're going in. Maybe you're going through something that isn't having anything to do with the virus, or the quarantine or anything like that. Maybe you're just going through something personal, something really difficult, really hard. Maybe you feel like people are against you, that you're surrounded by either um, a spiritual force that is against you, or you're surrounded even by a physical force that's against you. Either way, like, know that if we're in communication with the Lord, if we're in fellowship, if we have that relationship with Him and we pray and ask Him to surround us with just a protective force, like, it's happening and it's there. And even if we can't see it, that doesn't mean that it's not there. Just because the servant couldn't see the angel army doesn't mean that the angelic army wasn't there. It was just he struggled seeing it. And I think a lot of times we struggle seeing the reality of the spiritual nature that's around, the spiritual reality. And I'm not saying that all of a sudden you're going to walk around and see angels and see fiery chariots or anything like that. But I think the more that we pray and the more that we're in communication with a very real but very spiritual God, that's when we will begin to see the reality of his protection, the reality of the way that he works, the way that he intercedes for us. And if you're feeling surrounded, if you're feeling down, if you're feeling just overwhelmed with whatever it is that's going on, whether it is what's happening currently in our world or whether it's something completely different, just know that if you pray and give it to the Lord and just ask Him for help and ask Him for peace and comfort, even if you don't see something on a physical level, like, it's there. We don't need to see it to believe it. We just need to know that it is there. And, I can't tell you how many times that I've been going through something and I pray and ask for his peace, or I ask for just a revelation of who he is and his will, and he gives it in just different ways, whether it's a Bible verse, whether it's just an internal feeling, whether it is something on the physical plane, whatever that is, like, he doesn't fail to give that. And so my encouragement this morning is just take a lesson from Elisha and know that even if you feel surrounded, even if you feel like there's just no way out, you're trapped, which is obviously a very easy feeling to feel right now as we're just kind of at home. Even if you feel trapped, just know that whatever is surrounding you, whatever dark forces are coming against you, there's a spiritual realm, there's a spiritual um, army that answers to the Lord that surrounds that. And nothing happens to you or to any of us without God knowing it. He's on the throne, He's in control. Sorry. He's in control. He is, even amongst everything that's happening, He loves you and He's taking care of you. And so just trust that and hold on to that, especially in this season, especially in this time. Really try to hold on to that reality that, even if we don't see it, God is there. Even if we don't feel maybe something specific, God is so ready to give you the peace and comfort that you need. Just ask for it and just trust that He's there. Because even though the servant couldn't see the army was there. So that's just my encouragement. I encourage you to read the rest of the chapter and really the whole book. I love the Old Testament, especially like the Samuels and Kings and just that whole history. If you're bored, some good reading, there's some good action, some good stories. So I just encourage you guys with that. Know that I love you, and the Jonko home is praying for all of you guys. And please don't hesitate to reach out for any specific prayers or anything. But yeah, just love you guys. Hope you're all doing well, and God bless.